Hello, hello! This is the first part of a series on self-love. So in this video, we're going to be talking about identifying limiting beliefs. I'll be going into background on exactly what limiting beliefs are and then how to identify them so that we can be a higher version of ourselves. If that interests you, keep watching, hit the like button and subscribe. So before I actually get into talking about limiting beliefs, we're gonna start with a baseline. So everything that happens in our lives and everything about us is technically neutral. And then we as people, we attach meaning and we judge. So for example, failing an exam, it's a neutral event. And then we attach the meaning that that is a very bad thing and that we don't want it to happen. And also, when it comes to us, we attach meaning to ourselves and we look for ways to define ourselves. Everything that we do, our personality traits are technically neutral, but we decide that this or that is negative. And so, because events are neutral and everything about us is technically neutral, that means we have the power to decide what we believe about ourselves. It's all made up anyways, so you might as well make up things that work for you. And so what limiting beliefs are, things that we have decided about ourselves that don't help us in our lives, okay? For example, if I believe that I am not good enough, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for reasons constantly for why I'm not good enough to confirm that belief I have about myself. And obviously, feeling not good enough doesn't help me in my life and doesn't get me anywhere that I probably want to be. So now that you understand a little bit of limiting beliefs and what they are, we can talk about where they come from. So usually a limiting belief stems from childhood. I'll give you an example from my own life. When I was a kid growing up, so a little background actually before I get into that is, in a previous video I've mentioned this, but both of my sisters are heroin addicts. And when I was a kid, if they were high and I did something to upset them, and if you don't know about heroin, it definitely it can make a person very mean and vicious and just not themselves at all. And so as a child, if I did something to upset one of my sisters and they were high, they would say anything they could to kind of rip me to shreds and make me feel not good enough. And so, because of that, I carried the belief for a while that I wasn't good enough. And that did not get me anywhere because I believed that about myself. I was making then decisions through that filter of I'm not good enough. And so since then, I have done a lot of work to heal myself and to recognize how amazing I am and to forgive the mistakes that I've made and know that I'm human and that not loving myself doesn't get me anywhere. And since realizing that that limiting belief is helping me to get nowhere and just causing me pain and grief, I have rewritten what I believe about myself. And it has made my life so much more amazing and fulfilling because that's the thing, we are always with ourselves. You are your own best friend. You can't escape yourself. I mean, you could try, and I did try doing that when I was younger, but it doesn't end up working. And so if you're gonna be with yourself all the time, you might as well love yourself. You might as well enjoy your own company. Because I know when I was younger, I hated being alone. I hated to be by myself because I needed to be busy all the time because otherwise I was uncomfortable because I wasn't okay inside. Identifying your limiting beliefs can be a very powerful thing if you allow it to be. The greatest gift you could give yourself is feedback. And the greatest gift anybody else can give to you is feedback because we don't see ourselves, right? So getting feedback from other people about what they see in us can be so helpful. It's like a mirror so that we see what we're doing and where we can improve. So to start, you should take an honest look at what your limiting beliefs are. What do you believe about yourself? And then after doing that, really think and look back in your life, where did this come from? And like I said before, it typically will come from childhood. And the reason it's important to identify where it came from and what events caused you to believe that is because once you know the root cause of something, it has less power over you. Because once you know the event that made it happen as a child or whenever it was, you have more power over it, and you can decide to rewrite your beliefs into things that actually help you in your life and to help you love yourself. Self-love doesn't mean ego. It doesn't mean only caring about yourself. It doesn't mean any of these things. When you love yourself, that flows out to the people around you. So by loving yourself, you are loving others. I invite you to take out a journal or a piece of paper, whatever it is, and a pen, and sit in a quiet area and think and reflect. Write down your limiting beliefs. And then once you're done, meditate, do whatever you need to do that you think would help you, and connect with your childhood. Some of us run from our childhood. We don't think about it. We've blocked it out. And I know it can be scary, but really connect with the things that have happened, the events that have taken place in your life, and you'll know when you tap into your heart where that limiting belief came from. And I know it's scary, but just know that the first step to healing and self-love is going through something. It's not about getting over it, it's about going through it. Getting over it is just burying things down. And burying things down doesn't actually work, because it still pours out of us and it subconsciously affects us whether we know it or not. Then in that case, it's like we're a puppet, like being like our subconscious is pulling us and deciding the decisions that we make and how we react to people. I'd love for you guys to write in the comments one limiting belief that you have about yourself and what you are going to transform that belief into. I'll be the first to do it, and I'll put one of my limiting beliefs down below. The reason I would love for everyone to do this is so that it can be just a reminder that we all have them and that we're not alone. Identifying limiting beliefs and where they came from and starting to work through them is one of the first steps in self-love. There are more videos to come, and I hope you guys found this video helpful. Comment, like, subscribe. The next video for self-love will be posted on Thursday at 11 a.m. Bye!